So here we are. It's episode 9 of the Tennessee Titans UK Fans podcast. Once again, I'm joined by David and James. First thing I have to say today, the glasses are on. This is getting serious. We're hitting a difficult part of the season. I'm note heavy today, so you'll see me going for notes. So I do apologise in advance. I'm a bit all over the place this week. So, guys, we played the Texans. It ended 26-0, which I'm going to be honest with you, seeing some of the game, I was in the pub because we didn't feature much on red zone. Um, it was quite a tight game to start with. We missed a few kicks. I was kind of thinking, well, if we'd have got the kicks, it could have been 6-all. We were in this game, but then quite clearly something went wrong. What are your guys' opinions on what happened on Sunday night?
Well, I thought for 41 minutes it was quite a close game. We're not playing that great. I mean, if Sly makes the two field goals, as you say, it would have been 6-all. But then, you know, it was second and 33 at the Texans 18. What, 3 minutes to go in that third quarter, and they made a 37-yard play. I thought that was just so bad calling. I mean, okay, Snead was at fault because he didn't stop the player at all. But the defensive coordinator, I don't know what defense he does. You play a zone deep defense, let them get 15 yards, leave them with third and 18. But he left Snead out on his own. Stroud saw this open space and just threw the ball into an open space, and the man just caught it. I mean, it was a terrible play. And after that, you said the game then just was too far behind. We were 12 nothing behind, and they gave them two possessions in our half, and they scored on both those, and the game was over. And the end was very disappointing.
Mm.
I'm probably not so as PC as that. But like you people say we were in the game, and I've seen comments and talk about people saying, "Oh, we were in the game." We were never in the game. Like, let's be honest, we weren't in that game. We didn't get to the red zone. Like, don't get me wrong, the first half, neither team got to the red zone, but we didn't do anything. We literally did nothing that game apart from give away penalties, throw incomplete passes, run into into their D line. We did absolutely nothing. We barely got any sort of a drive going, and when we did get a drive going, we missed a field goal or we gave away a penalty that brought it all the way back. It was probably the worst game I've seen in quite some time. And I'm pretty sure we'll go on to it later, but there is a lot of different people that I feel had awful, awful, awful games. It was it was a tough watch at times. I wanted to turn off the inner part of me, not even that I think anything was going to happen, but I think I more kept on because I wanted to be able to talk about something on the podcast. If I didn't have the podcast, I would have turned it off probably at half time and gone and watch Red Zone or watch another game because it was shocking.
James, quite clearly, you're going to be the positive one tonight for this weekend. I'm glad you're going to be the one having the rant tonight, and it's not going to be me because I'm trying my best to be calm. But obviously, guys, I didn't see much of the game. I saw kind of the first quarter. I then decided I wanted some Guinness, so I dragged myself to the pub, and I thought, well, if we get some touchdowns, I'll see us on red zone. If anybody saw the video I made after the game, I'd had a few pints at that point. A few people said I looked a little bit drunk. I wasn't too sure myself. I had a few more after that. So I think I made the right decision not to watch the game this week, which is always disappointing because there's only 17 games if you don't get into the playoffs. So you have to relish every game that you can take in. But at the same time, like you said, James, if it wasn't for the podcast, you'd have been quite disappointed. You'd have turned it off, which you look forward from January to August, September. You look forward to this so much, and then you just kind of want to give up. I mean, there's got to be some positives from the game. Now, my positive was that I didn't actually watch it. That's my positive from the game. I avoided being really disappointed on a Monday morning, although I did have a bit of a sore head. Although I told the other half it was stress related, it wasn't a hangover. So, I can't give anything really to the positives here. I mean, well, actually, tell you what, the one positive is we're closer to week 9. which is I think is the week that Callahan's going to get fired. So that's my positive from the game, that we're getting closer to the end of the Callahan reign. Have you guys got any positives that you can pick from the game that you saw, possibly?
Well, I don't know. You can really say a positive. I mean, obviously, defensively, I think they got tired at the end of the game, and so that's why they were just exhausted, I think. But in the first half, they were getting pressure on Stroud, and they knocked him down quite a few times. Um, and they weren't producing much in the way of offense. But at the end, they obviously, the final quarter, they just handed in the towel basically. But I don't know what game James was watching. They only gave away 4 penalties. It says they gave loads of penalties away.
Well,
Um,
four's a lot for me.
and
Yeah,
There was a
a
lot that weren't
defensive
that, there was a lot that
receipt.
weren't accepted as well. There was a few they didn't accept. But I think mainly the four penalties are big ones that just cancel drives out, and it's those ones that hinder you. But maybe I just thought there was more because I was expecting more. But or maybe I saw one penalty and it hindered a drive, and I was just like, nah, that's it, that's loads. So in response, yeah, we actually had a good game penalty wise, but we still gave away big penalties.
I
shame
mean,
about the
the thing
refs.
was the offense was appalling today. Cam had his worst game for by far. And the receivers, they never seemed to be open during the game. They Every time the ball was thrown to them, there was someone right on their tail. I mean,
We're supposed to be doing positives.
there
Oh
wasn't
yeah, it's
much in
positive.
the way
Yeah,
of
oh, yeah.
positives.
That's obviously the best positive you can get still, isn't it? So
Yes.
I will
I
say
mean,
Big Jeff played well. He's increasing that trade value we can get for him now.
I was going to say
Um,
he obviously sees the writings on the wall, and he's got to do something if he wants to get a ring, and maybe he's
we
thinking it's not with the Titans.
we might get a first round pick for him now. But no, he actually had a really good game. That sack he had was so quick.
Hmm.
That don't be wrong, their own line was terrible in that particular play, but that was one of the quickest sacks I've ever seen, and it was over and done with within a flash. He played well. I think Cedric Gray played well. I think he got a franchise record of most tackles of
He
17
had
tackles.
17. He had
Yeah.
17.
So he did well considering obviously he had that big blunder a couple of weeks ago on the special teams, but he did well. But that's it. That is really it, positive wise. I can't think of anything. Mind you, actually, I did read somewhere that we didn't give away that many sacks this week.
Two. Two
Two.
sacks.
So that's a
Yeah.
positive. Even though he did take a lot of pressure, only two sacks. So something, and considering we had a bit of a makeshift line as well, a different right tackle, I think, didn't we? So there's,
I'm trying to
I mean,
see
I
from my
thought
notes if there's any
the O
positive.
line
I'm
looked a
struggling.
bit better than it had done on the previous 3 games. I mean, not very perfect, but it was an improvement, I thought.
yeah, yes. But yeah, it's a tough one trying to find any sort of positives behind that.
Well, you see, saying that brings me nicely onto the next subject. So, do we have, how do I say this? Do we have any negatives from the game? And maybe things that maybe people aren't thinking of, or the most talked about negatives. Is there something specific that riled you differently to what has probably riled other people? Because we can talk about the normal negatives, can't we? And I guess they get a bit boring talking about the same things. Is there anything else you could see that was disappointing?
Well, I think the play calling designs are it's so often Cam seems to have to make the difficult throw. They don't, just go for some easy throws to get the ball moving and try to slow down the pressure by say, you know, tight end makes an out move for just a 5 yard gain and pass, but they seem to want to make the big passes all the time.
What do you think did you think anything changed from Callahan dropping play calling? As someone that probably understands play calling a little bit better than what I do, do you think it changed from the last time out?
I don't think it changed a lot, but maybe the decision making was a little better. But I mean, let's face it, the chap's been in charge for what, 4 days. I don't think you're going to see a great amount of change in 4 days. Yeah, hopefully next week and the week after things will start to improve as he puts his stamp on the play calling. But at the moment, you won't see a lot of change.
See, with the play calling, yes, he might get it wrong and make some mistakes, but then when you've seen Callahan, he's not been assertive enough with it. You
Hmm.
just need that kind of, you see the coaches go, right, this is what I'm doing, this is what's happening. So even if the guy is a bit like that and he gets it wrong, I think people would have a lot more respect for him. But at least he's got a game plan, he's going with it. Callahan kind of had a game plan, wasn't sure, changed his mind, but then still made a mess of it, didn't he? So if this other guy, is makes decisions within seconds and still gets them wrong, I think people would have a bit more respect for him. So yeah, like I say, 4 days being put into that, thrusted into that role is quite difficult really because he's got his own little job that he's trying to work on. Then suddenly, oh, now you're doing this. And it's a lot to change very quickly. A lot of pressure to put on people. I know these guys are paid to take the pressure and to get on with it, but again, they're all human. They can't just change what they're doing and their mentality overnight. It's not going to work that way, is it? So almost like we could do with an early bye week this year to kind of get them to regroup. But having it in week 9 probably isn't going to. Well, it's not going to help Callahan, in my opinion. But it's not helping anyone at the moment. So very frustrating. Now, a
I
couple of
think
talking points. Also, go on,
I
James.
was just going to say when we're talking about things that of the negatives and stuff, I feel something has to be said about Sneed. The biggest waste of money possible. Don't be wrong, there are flashes when he can be good, but and I want to say this because it's just been winding me up all week. Is if you come out in the media and you start acting the Billy Big ones and start when people start saying are you looking forward to covering Nico Collins and you just sit there going who you make sure on Sunday you cover him and you make sure you back up what you say. When he made those comments and after the way he's been with the Titans, I told a couple of my friends, play Nico Collins in fantasy. Just play him. Because he's gonna run riot. He will get a touchdown and he will pick up good yardage against us. And what happened? To be fair, I can't remember if he got a touchdown, but he picked up good yardage because Snead was nowhere near him. He didn't back up his comments at all. And then afterwards, he just acted like, "Oh yeah, well, it's just something we say." It's yeah, no, mate. If you're gonna act the Billy Big ones, you back it up. You didn't back it up, and to be perfectly honest, I know we have this big hatred and we want Callahan to go. I actually would rather have Callahan than have Snead in our team. He just looked uninterested. There was times where they made throws and he was just stood there, and even the commentators were saying, "What is he doing? What's he even looking at?" He's just stood there covering nothing, and he didn't even make an effort to go and make a tackle. Didn't make an effort to try and read the pass. He just stood there literally looking like he's in his head thinking, I wonder who's going to make a trade for me. I wonder if I can go somewhere else. Or he's sitting there going, what am I going to spend my 90 odd million pounds on?
See, that being the case, if that's how he played, then I know you said you'd rather keep Callahan there, but you have to question Callahan. If you've got a player stood there staring into the sky, pull him off. Surely you're better off bringing in a reserve or somebody who doesn't even play a position and say, go and make this position your own and you go for it. If you're going to keep playing someone, if they're playing that bad, is that poor coaching as well?
Well, this is the thing
Yeah.
with Brownlee, isn't it? Like they supposedly got rid of, I mean, no one really knows the ins and outs, but apparently Brownlee went because of his disciplinary
Mm.
issues or making the penalties and him unwilling to change how he plays. They had a big, apparently there's a big confrontation afterwards between Wilson and Brownlee, and then they end up with Brownlee going. Whether that's true or not, so they make those sorts of decisions. That has to be the reason. Because if they just sat there and given away for a sixth round pick, that's just mental.
Mm.
If he's your best player and you sat there and go, we'll get a sixth round pick for him just for I don't know what the word, I try not to swear, but for just for some fun, you don't do that. That is pure mental behavior. That is pure J-Rob behavior. Like you wouldn't do that. So there must be something behind it with to back up this disciplinary issues. They must do that. So why didn't they do that with Snead? He just didn't look interested at all the whole game.
Thing is,
Well,
you always
actually,
find it difficult. Go on,
you
Dave.
say that about Brownlee. In fact, if you think about it, they gave up a seventh round pick. So really, they gave it for an upgrade from a seventh to a sixth for him. So basically, they gave him away for free.
Oh, look at that face on you there, James. You look really pleased with that. Are you going to make the end of the podcast today, or are you probably going to stop?
I'm just going to close my laptop down and be done with it.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I say, yeah, they're trading somebody for disciplinary reasons, then they're playing somebody who's not interested in playing. So it does make you wonder. You kind of looking at soccer terms, you look at Manchester United, you hear stories that there's bad attitudes and the club's being run poorly behind the scenes. Is it being run poorly behind the scenes at the moment? And it's kind of gone through not just gone from the front office to the back office that top to bottom, is it being run poorly? Possibly, but I can't comment on that. You don't hear any stories from kind of from Nashville that there's issues behind the scenes, but it does make you wonder, doesn't it? That there is other issues. So ah, we've had some talking points. I think Callahan. I don't want anyone to. We won't talk about Callahan just yet. What I want you both to do is give me a prediction. What week he's going to be fired? I've gone for week 9 because of the bye week. What are you two guys thinking?
Well, yeah, he won't be far. There's no point firing him now because who's going to take over? They're not going to hire someone on a long-term contract at this point in the season because really they want to wait until the new year when people are available and then they can see which OCs or DCs are available.
Hmm.
So they're only going to upgrade one of the others behind. So I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. So I don't think they should get rid of him, certainly until much later in the season.
What are you thinking? Week
Isn't
16?
Not quite as late as that, but certainly not before the bye.
I think it's a difficult one, isn't it? Really, you've got to think about who's available. Now, I read something earlier and someone put up a good post about looking at the stats for this particular head coach that I'm going to mention. It also depends whether he's available, and I'm pretty sure he is available from my limited knowledge of the NFL. But Mike McCarthy, who was at the Cowboys, I believe. Um, so I think he's available. And there was there was some breakdown about how many teams sack their coach mid-season and how many like regress or improve. And the odds are that the team improves. Now, you're then stuck in that balance. Do you want to? I mean, I want to improve. I want to see us do something, and I want to be able to watch NFL on a Sunday and enjoy a Titans game. Whether we lose or not, I just want to enjoy the game. I feel at the moment I'm not enjoying them. So get Mike McCarthy in. He's a very offensive. He's got play calling. Uh, what the word I'm thinking? He does play calling. He apparently is quite good at play calling. He has something like a. He has a high, very high winning percentage. Get him in. He can play. He can make his own play calls. It then becomes an issue of who else do you get rid of? Is it just Callahan you get rid of, or do you get rid of the lot? And do you just clear house apart from special teams? Because I feel like he's got to stay, and I really like him. Um, but then also the negative of it is we start doing well, then we desperately need low draft picks. We need to get better players in. And the only way we're going to have to do that is to kind of just be bad. So
Tank for the
is
season.
is keeping Callahan that bad? If we end up 0 for 17 and we get the first round pick, we don't necessarily need to have it, but we can then trade it up, get a mid first pick this year, a first round pick for next year, which means we will have two for next year, and then we just bulk up on players.
I
We
see. If you get a load of good picks, then you've got maybe a better chance of getting a better coach because you can say, well, look, we've got these better picks now. We're going to get the better prospects. So a coach who's coming in long term might look at that and think, oh, well, if I can get the right players in, then it makes managing the Titans more appealing. Because if you're going to win 5 games towards the end of the season, not end up with the picks, then you're going to be thinking, well, I've not got as much to play with. So yeah, so it does make you wonder, doesn't it, if they want to tank the season possibly.
Yeah, I'm just not sure it's whether it makes them more appealing. I think the money is what makes things appealing. Like we've never, you can't exactly the players we've brought in over the last few years, of Julio Jones, Hopkins. I mean, you name it. All the amount of people that are on there are coming towards the end of their careers. They're not coming here to like to win a ring. They're coming
Payday.
here. They're coming here for a payday. Sneed, for a prime example. I it's.
Can I just check you, James? If you buy Titans jersey, you won't be having Snead on the back of the season.
Well, actually, I have a good relationship with buying jerseys and then them being traded. So there's actually
Not
a
the
good
only one.
chance of buying a Sneed one, just the hope that he gets traded.
Buy two
So
just in
that is
case.
a possibility. I just need to work out whether I can change his how easy it is to change the number afterwards.
Or just get a piece of sticky tape and write Sneed and stick it on the back of one of your jerseys.
I'll just do it on the Bayard one,
Yeah.
like or the AJ Brown one, or whatever. I can go
Don't
through the
worry.
list of the amount of
I've got
old jerseys.
I've got an AJ Brown jersey as well. Don't worry. I did see recently that there was a story. How true it was, I don't know. Just slightly off topic. That AJ Brown was looking for a trade. If he was available, would you trade for him? Would you try bring him back to Nashville, or would you not touch him at all? I know it's slightly
I
off topic.
would get a plane ticket. I would go pick up Snead. I'd pick up Ridley. I'd take him all the way over to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'd hand them over, and I'll personally drive AJ back and say it's all good. But I just don't see it ever happening. He's a Vrabel man. He'll go Patriots. I can't see him ever coming back to the Titans. I feel like it's the organization that did him dirty, not
Mm.
Vrabel. And if the Patriots want him, he'll go Patriots. I would love having him back. Safe pair of hands, isn't it? Although when he comes back, you probably get knee injuries when we get him back.
Oh
So,
yeah, exactly. First training
but yeah,
session.
I'd have him back
David,
in a
would you take
heartbeat.
him back?
We can't afford to trade for anybody. I mean, you can't give up picks to get one player. We're not in a strong enough position. You do that when you're in a reasonably strong position and you want the extra players to get you to a Super Bowl.
But
To
we
be
are
fair,
we're
One
giving up
one
a
player to
top.
get us to win 5 games is not going to be enough.
We're giving up a top cornerback. I've been harsh. Snead's amazing. Snead's one of the best cornerbacks we've got on our team. So we'd give him up and we'll give up Ridley, who catches absolutely everything. That's how we've got to sell it to the Eagles. And we can then trade them two for him.
Well, I
what
suppose
what probably happens?
if
Go
their
on, go on,
if
Dave.
their person at the Eagles has never seen a football game before, then maybe we've got a chance.
So we probably will sign AJ Brown, but we'll probably wait till he's 33. We'll give him a 7-year contract at 500 million, and then he'll never play because he'll be injured or too old. So that's probably what the Titans will do, won't they? So is there anything else we want to cover about this week's game and what's going on before we look possibly to next week, or any other subjects we want to talk about yet?
Cam
Or are we?
Ward?
See, I feel sorry for Cam because he's getting smashed, isn't he? And was
He's
it he did? Was it 10 of 23 attacks? He completed, and it's not enough. But then if he hasn't got the team around it, my doorbell's constantly going off. I've got a cobweb on my Ring doorbell. It's driving me mad. My phone's constantly going off. You hear vibrating. It's my phone. I should have cleared it before we started this. So yeah, I mean, Cam Ward is getting absolutely smashed isn't it, at the moment, which is really frustrating because we've got to try to protect him. He's a young quarterback, and we're just going to kill him, aren't we? Really, he's going to end up with a bad injury, and then we're going to
Well,
get to the end of the season. Then we're going to bring back a quarterback who's our fourth choice at the moment, who's injured, who I won't mention. And he'll end up coming back next season probably because Cam Ward will be injured. So, what do you guys think
well,
about
do you know
Cameron?
which team has about the fifth most time in the pocket? The Titans. Cam Ward has 2.6 seconds per throw, which is about fifth best. So it's also the receivers that are not getting open.
Well, that's it. See, he's got the time to look up, and he's looking up, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
there's
I've got
nobody
to
here."
throw it, and and
And,
he's
and, and
he's
do you know
throwing
what?
his throws.
Callahan's under so much pressure. Now, I'll let you say his name, David, because I can't say it. But the wide receiver he had at Miami with him, yeah, that one.
Trapper.
The
Yeah,
Strepo.
why don't they just say, right, do you know what? Season's trash. We've had enough. Bring him in. Pam. work with this guy, give this guy a chance. What we got to lose? We are, as it stands, I would say we're going 0-17, just as it stands and the way the organisation is. So,
Well, I think Restrepo is somebody who is okay. He's not that fast, but he has a knack of making really good when he gets the ball, quick turns. He can find his way to get it open.
thing is,
And
though,
I
if
think
he's got that
he might
connection with
help
Cam
Cam.
Ward, if he's
Yeah.
got that connection, and Cam's played with him before, and sometimes in life you see sports people, and I always remember, like, you watch football. You see two players connect really well, then one transfers elsewhere, and then that player's not as good because he hasn't got that same player with him who plays well with him. And it's almost like, Resipo, well, Xavier's his first. I'll call him Xavier, shouldn't I?
Restrepo. Yeah. Call him
Restrepo.
X.
Yeah,
God
X.
knows what I'll
yeah,
end up. I got to be
you
careful.
could do it.
I might say something X-rated when I say his name. So, although he may not be as good, but if Cam Ward knows what he's going to do next because he's played with him, just give the guy a chance. There's Callahan is like, he's P45's on the way soon if he's not careful. You know, if he brought him in, and again, Titans fans, if we lost, then he tried really hard. They'd probably cut him some slack. So thinking, well, at least he's doing what the fans want. He's trying something different. And to be fair, it could work. It could be the best thing ever. And what'll happen is he'll end up going somewhere. Oh my doorbell again. He'll end up going somewhere, and he'll get some touchdowns, and then we'll moan about it. And I just think, it's something different we should try. If we're having a losing season, what we got to lose? Like I said on Sunday night after a few pints, you know, it's the manner of how we lose. If we score a couple of touchdowns and we lose because we're a little bit unlucky or we're just not the better team, I can live with that. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Someone has to lose, someone has to win. Let's just enjoy that. But I'm going to say that every week now, aren't I? If we can just get a touchdown, I'll be happy.
Well, the
Well, it's
Or a
thing,
like
few,
Gunnar
few
Helm.
kicks.
Gunnar Helm has caught 7 out of 8 passes, which is the highest percentage. But so why isn't he getting thrown the ball more often? He obviously catches it when it's thrown to him.
Mm.
I think it's a weird thing, isn't it? Everyone's disliking Ridley. You can't take Ridley because he's the for Restrepo to be effective, we need someone else who's quick to drag people away and to be the focal point. So if Ridley's on, he's going to be covered by, you'd think, the better cornerbacks. So that then leaves someone open. I don't see the difference between, and it sounds bad, I never really want to drop a player that doesn't deserve to when I feel like Ridley deserves to be dropped, but you just can't drop him. One, because he is your number one, and secondly, the amount of money we are paying for him. But things like Jefferson, I don't see the like even Lockett. I don't see Lockett's there for a safety blanket, but Restrepo has been a safety blanket. You don't put that sort of number of yards and touchdowns that he did at Miami without being relatively good. Speed or no speed, he's still got to be a good, safe pair of hands. But I don't get me wrong, I am in Cam Ward. I am all about Cam Ward, and I do want him to do well. I just started to look at the stats for last game, and I know it was a bad game. It was a bad game all round. And then I started comparing to Levis, and well, I'm
Oh,
not
don't
going to
say
talk
that
about
name.
Levis
Don't say that
more
name.
than
Don't
what
say
it
that
is.
name.
But the comparisons is quite like damning. Don't get me wrong, Levis had a stat pad game in his first game where he scored 4 touchdowns. He had a really good game and we won that game. And the next 3 we lost. However, Levis did win a game. Cam Ward hasn't won a game. Levis had a better accuracy, passed for more yards, passed for more touchdowns, and had the same amount of interceptions. Now, this is before Levis went on his doing crazy stuff. But Cam Ward is worse off than what Levis was. And I feel they both had bad O lines. Both had bad receivers. I would actually argue the fact that apart from Hopkins, mind you, yeah, he did have a really good connection with Hopkins, didn't he, in that first couple of games? But it's just a hard thing to work out, and I feel like Levis gets a lot of hate, and I on how he was, but Cam Ward's not actually performing to Levis' standards, but yet he's got a free pass.
Yeah, but
And so I'm
has
not saying we
with,
should get rid of
with
him, we should
Levis.
drop Cam Ward, but for me, it's an area of concern. He had a really bad game. I think he was like 30 odd percent completion. in the in the Texans game. That's quite worrying. Like,
Yeah, but you see, I think the difference between Cam and Levis is, now I can say his name again, is Cam hasn't got the mayonnaise advert. He hasn't got the endorsements to get him going, to get him excited. So maybe he needs to get a mayonnaise advert and a silly aftershave to get him going, possibly. But you know, did Levis have a better team at that point around him to help support him, possibly? Because we're on the decline now, so maybe that's the difference. I don't know. With a rookie, it's always difficult, isn't it? Because he's learning as much as well. He's learning about the NFL as much as the NFL's learning about him. So it's hard work, isn't it? It's the joys of having a rookie quarterback. I mean, he might have a
there's
really
one
rough
thing
season this season, then come good next year.
there's one thing I will say about Cam, or it's not necessarily about him, but it's something that happened in the game against the Texans, which really kind of pissed me off more than Snead just looking at the sky. There was that moment in the first half where Alshire two hands to Cam Ward's face, illegal hit, roughing the passer, targeting, you name whatever you want to call it. The ball's gone and he smashed him in the face with his two hands. It should have been flagged, wasn't flagged. That's a whole different conversation about why he didn't get that penalty. The one thing that really got to me was that happened. There was no O line jumping in. There was no people off the bench. The only person I saw do anything on that bench was Jeffrey Simmons, where he started pointing to his head, flagging. There's something's changed because the team didn't rally to him. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing against Cam. I'm saying it's probably more to do with the team itself. But the team didn't rally to him. If that was Joe Burrow, there'd have been punches thrown in. The Bengals O line, as bad as they are, would have gone charging in there. It would have
Well,
been a
it's
big
kind of
old
that, it's that team bonding and team spirit, isn't
yeah.
it?
It would
Like
have been
you're not
handbags.
you're not my quarterback, I'll knock you. Which we're not condoning violence, but you want to see that kind of togetherness as a team. It's almost like they've gone, nah,
And the
and it's not fair, is it?
The Jeff
The
of
only thing,
old would have gone in there, full on, headlocked, thrown him around the ground, probably pulled his helmet off, and it'd have been a ruckus. In fact, the person who I'd have wanted there was Taylor Lewin. Lewin wouldn't have stood for that. Lewin would have
Hmm.
gone in there and ripped his head off, and would have stood up for Ward.
I think the only thing is though that Cam was outside the pocket near the sideline, and the rest of the offensive line was still probably fighting someone, and and so they probably didn't see it. Because obviously it wasn't something you noticed in at the time. It was only when they showed the replay you thought, oh, he got smacked in the head. So maybe that's the reason why they didn't. Had he been in, say, the pocket or whatnot, they might have seen that and then, stuck up for him. And so maybe that's a defense on their part that they didn't quite actually see what happened.
So we are starting to run out of time. We've got about 5 minutes left, so we do need to quickly cover the Cardinals game next week. What time's kickoff next week? Does anybody know?
9 o'clock, nine
Is it
o'clock.
9 o'clock? Is it
Well,
Right.
well, might be a bit later than 9, but is that slot?
The evening kickoff.
Yeah.
evening
Or,
kickoff? I did notice that we've not been chosen by Channel 5 or Sky once again. It's going to be a long season for fans who want to watch a full game, who don't have a Game Pass to enjoy, I think. So, um, Cardinals, they're 2-2. So, they're not brilliant. They're not bad. They obviously know how to score touchdowns, so they won 2 games. What are your predictions for the games, guys? I'm going to save my prediction for Thursday night slash Friday, I think, because I'm having good think at the moment about how I'm going to approach this. Because every week on TikTok, I've been using TikTok a lot recently. You need to get on there, David. I'm getting myself into a lot of trouble on there. Um, and I'm getting a lot of abuse off away fans, which is really good banter and fun. So I'm going to save that for Thursday slash Friday. Because I keep saying I'm going to be positive. So I'm a very positive Titans fan. Guys, predictions quickly. What you got?
Well, you can't really be very optimistic. I mean, I normally am, but I don't think they're going to win. Look, my hope would be that they score 20 points plus, even if
20.
they lose. Well, yeah,
You're about the Cardinals or the Titans?
no. I think the
The Titans.
the Cardinals will be an easier defense to play. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If
If they
if we
score
attack.
that many points, I'd be happy with the performance. We'd have something to talk about positively.
Well, exactly.
I,
And the next day you can watch the highlights and enjoy the highlights of some attacking play from the Titans because we don't get any of that, do we?
I've kind of said every week that when our season starts, and I'm going to make excuses. First week was the Broncos, who have a ridiculously good defense. The next was the Rams, who have a top five D line and a very good defense. Um, then the next was the Colts, who again have it all kind of like figured out. They've got a very good defense as well, and I kind of and they're on a roll, so you can't really count them out. I did say our season started with the Texans, but the Texans do have two of the top defensive ends or pass rushers in the game. They've got some very good pass rushers. Now, it should start this week because the Cardinals don't have that sort of pedigree to their name. So we shouldn't have top pass rushers. We shouldn't have a big top five, top defense to be playing against. The They do have an okay offense, but it should be our time. However, I'm not going to say our season starts in week five. I'm just going to say we're going to lose because I
Oh,
feel that's the easiest thing to say at the moment.
I
But it should be a
I
good
really
game.
feel now you two have put me under a lot of pressure now because when I do my prediction tomorrow on TikTok or Friday, I've got two negative Titans fans with me right now. Surely you can see light at the end of the tunnel. We can see that we're going to proceed here. We're going to win at some
If
point
we
in the
don't,
season.
I thought if we didn't beat the Texans with their awful O-line, I thought we should have shut them up and how badly they've played. I thought we could have done something. If we can't do anything or get good runs together against the Cardinals, we might as well just give up
Well, I mean,
because
TJ Spears, if you see my latest TikTok, which I did as you were getting ready, has been put back into injuries at reserve practice. So he's in contention now. So potentially we might get a bit of help this week coming up with Spears being back in. I think they might rush. I don't think he's gonna be ready this week, but they might try him. So there's a positive.
do we play the Jets and the Saints this year? I think we do, don't we?
No, it's,
I
I
got
don't
to
think,
play.
Do we not?
no, I don't think so. No,
Oh,
we played the Patriots in the East, don't we? So they're the only team
oh,
we play in the
forgot.
East.
So we've got to play Buffalo. Great.
No, 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 we're not playing. We're playing the West, all four teams in the West, and we
Oh,
play the Patriots in the East.
okay. So I was wondering if we got playing the teams that are on 0 and 4, but obviously they're
It
not
makes no
going to get
difference.
through me. But yeah, it's got to be this week, hasn't it? It's got to be this week to have some turnaround. This is our first chance where we can't really have any excuses of playing against elite players. I don't want to say like bad mouth Cardinals. They're a good team, but they're not on the echelons of the teams we've
Trash
already
talk
played.
them.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sorry, guys. We're going to hit the last 20 seconds here. So I know it's just going to suddenly cut off right at the end. So David, James, thanks for joining once
Goodbye.
more. Next week we'll be a bit more positive. We're going to push with it. Obviously, shout out to everyone who follows the channel on Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram. Get on TikTok, James. Get some more TikToks in, please. I want to see you on there because it's fun being a Titans fan at the moment. Right, so I'll leave you guys to it, and I'm sure we'll chat on Sunday.
See you later.